if I was to sort of throw them under the bus. Hi there guys, welcome to another video at the Football Social. My name is Skibby and today we're going to be talking about the breaking news out of the Premier League where Scott Parker has left his post at AFC Bournemouth after the 9-0 drubbing of Liverpool. And in this video we're going to be talking about whether it was the results, whether it was his actions, and to be honest, to sort of dive in a bit deeper at Scott Parker's time at Bournemouth. So let's get into it. So the breaking news today is that Scott Parker is the first managerial casualty of the new Premier League season, and to be honest, I don't think that comes to the surprise of many people. If you were a betting man, he would probably be the odds-on favourite, given the depth of the squad, the style of play that Scott has, his track record, relegated with Fulham 2 years ago, and also, I mean, the way they were promoted was very defensive, and doesn't really flow well, and that's my opinion. It wasn't very a graceful promotion into the Premier League by Scott and the team. But looking at the first few games that they had, Aston Villa at home, Man City, Arsenal, and then Liverpool away, there was some very, very tough start for the Cherries. And if you were optimistic, you would probably say 3 points is probably all they're looking to get there. Steven Gerrard had a bit of a resurgence with Aston Villa, so you're probably only looking at 1 point from those 4 games. However, they did get the win against Aston Villa, first game of the season, 3 points, and started very well. Then Man City, a 4-0 loss, Arsenal, a 3-0 loss, and then the Liverpool 9-0 loss at Anfield is potentially not the greatest result, to say the least. However, a loss against Liverpool is probably what you would have expected. So, has he been treated unfairly just from the results alone? Yes. And I mean, we've seen Southampton lose 9-0 to Leicester. I think that even happened twice for them. So, for them to get a 9-0 loss, it doesn't look great. However, against a Liverpool side, is that really the end of the world? So, after looking into the results and the performance side of Scott Parker, it may be really unfair to say that he was sacked based on performance alone. Therefore, let's jump into the interview, which potentially caused a bit of a rift between him and the owner after the Liverpool 9-0 loss. When he was questioned about the 9-0 loss, this is what he had to say. At this moment in time, where we currently are, I can see some more, to be honest with you. It doesn't surprise me. This is currently where it is at the moment in time. The players need help. Today proved too big of a challenge. The levels were far too big. At times, we couldn't bear it. The intensity. We've got a decision to make as a club. There will be days like this. Time will tell. It's a huge disappointment, a real humbling experience. And as you can see, he's not holding back. He clearly is saying, I do not have the resources to compete at this level. Therefore, a shot at the owner and the board to say you are not backing me. Whether there was a club vision discussed at the start of the season to say that he would be backed, I don't know. But there's something you would expect. You wouldn't expect such different opinions at this time between the ownership and the manager. And if Parker knew that he wasn't going to be getting the players, he probably would have walked before the season started. But again, it goes both ways. Has this conversation been happening behind closed doors? Only Scott could tell you that. Only the owner could tell you that. And if it hasn't, and this is the first time they're sort of hearing about it, then through the media is probably not the best way to do it. And you can see why they would be very disgruntled and potentially lose your job. For example, at my job, if I was to sort of throw them under the bus and say, you lost 9-0, or your performance, what are you going to do about your performance? And if I just said, oh, well, you know, expect a bit more than that, or expect more to come, like the exact same results, I'll probably get sacked as well. So it doesn't look good. However, it's letting that frustration out in the media if he's not being listened to internally, which is probably done the damage. However, there's one thing we have seen from Parker in the past, is he does have quite the ego. And the reason I'm saying this is because from losses when at Bournemouth and from Fulham, nothing seems to ever be his fault. He would always place the blame on the players. He doesn't seem to protect them very well, and he never sort of says, I got it wrong. I've never ever heard Scott Parker say, I got it wrong today. And I think that's where the problem really lies within this story, that he's on a certain level and he may be getting a bit too big for his boots with the owners, trying to call the shots, trying to do too much, and to be fair, they've called him out on it and cut him loose and maybe better off for it. But to be honest, it does seem that it's the comments and the manner that he held himself after the 9-0 defeat that cost him his job. Now looking at the transfers, was Scott Parker backed as the manager of AFC Bournemouth? Initially, I would want to say no, and that's based on this transfer window. They signed Marco Senesi from Feyenoord for 13.5 million, Marcus Tavernier from Middlesbrough for 10 million, Joe Rothwell from Blackburn for free, Ryan Fredericks from West Ham for free, and Neto from Barcelona for free. And myself, I love the fact that people are going into the Championship for talent, and I think it does pay off if you buy the right player. Jared Bowen, Lewis Potter for Brentford. There is a lot of talent in the Championship. I mean, Mitrovic coming off the back of his 43-goal season. There is talent within the Championship, that's for sure. And then you look at the Brereton Diaz. I mean, Bradley Dack back in the day before he got injured was a very, very good player. But am I looking at Joe Rothwell and Tavernier as the players that can compete at this level and take them to that next level? I don't think so. And I mean, 20 million spent, I get it's quite a lot of money, but in this day and age, 20 million is something that is not a lot considering how much you need to spend in order to strengthen this Bournemouth team. But what it feels like to me is that they used all their budget on the promotion push with no real plan once they actually got that promotion to actually strengthen this squad and replace the Todd Cantwell, Nathaniel Phillips, and really solidify this team as a team that could stay in the Premier League. In conclusion, do I feel like the sacking was harsh? I don't think so. I think he has already left mentally, given the interview that he gave after the Liverpool loss. There seemed to be this growing rift between the management and the ownership that, it was just not healthy for Bournemouth's survival in the Premier League. Therefore, even though it was very early in the season, it was the right time, and now Bournemouth can now try and build something to try and solidify their place in the Premier League. What are your thoughts about the sacking of Scott Parker? Do you think it was too early? Do you think it was harsh? Do you think the comments that he made after the game were correct? Let us know in the comments, like and subscribe for more, and we'll catch you in the next video.